Hi guys, it's your favorite corporate powerhouse, CJ Spencer. I lead enterprise-wide initiatives for corporations while building experience-based businesses where people can create tangible memories. Okay, and we are here to talk life, business, leadership, so we can apply those things to our day-to-day lives in corporate America and in business. And so right now we're gonna talk about where I've been at. Okay, for the last 6 months and I've been in my head. I have been in my head. These last 6 months have really been a whirlwind for me because God has brought me out of a place. He's still bringing me out of a place that I had not been in a very, very long time. Okay, let's get into it. So, what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about when leaders are struggling. What do we do? Okay. I have been a natural born leader since I can remember, right? I've always held leadership positions. I've always had to mentor and lead other people and develop them in whatever capacity. I'm one of those people where people always look to immediately, oh, CJ, we want you to lead. Da, 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 da. And in my maturity in leadership, I have found that sometimes you got to just say no, right? I don't want to lead any and everything. Yes, can I do any and everything I put my mind to? Absolutely. Should I be doing it is another question. And that's something that I've been able to really tap into, I would say, over the last 2 years. I can do anything. Yes, I can go to school and be anything I want. What that journey looks like is going to be based on if that is for me. Am I supposed to be doing that? Is that an area that I can thrive? Or can I let somebody else thrive in that area? Right. And so as a leader, part of that also is sometimes when you are a natural leader and people trust you and you have buy-in and they take your word as in some capacity as the Bible, they often want you to be in that space and operate in that space all the time. And I ain't had it. I ain't had it the last. I ain't baby. Listen, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. All I had the last 6 months were enough to just do what I needed to do. Okay. I showed up at work, did what I needed to do. I showed up for my business. I did what I needed to do there. Made sure that my baby was good and my family was good. Did my obligations, for my faith in church and all of that. But that was it. That's all I had. And I struggled with that thing because I'm looking at myself from the inside out or the other way around. From the outside looking in, like, girl, that's a little bit, there's more in you, but you are not operating in that space. And I could not figure out why for the life of me. Okay. I didn't know why. Like, girl, what is going on with you? Like, why are you not thriving in my mind? Why are you not just doing all the things? Like, you should be able to do all the things right now. Baby, the only thing, tell you something, the only thing that I could do consistently over the last 6 months was work on my makeup game. And that was in the house. Okay. I was in the house doing that. I wasn't out. I wasn't doing all the things. I just didn't have it. And I didn't really understand why I was in this place of just not having it. One, I realized because the enemy understands your capacity more than you do. The enemy knows, I believe the enemy knows what God has for you before you realize it, because that is why things come at you so hard, because they know if they just get a little glimpse of what the next phase of it is, what the next stage, what the next blessing is, ain't nothing I can do with them. So they try to throw things at you. And this season was grief for me. This season was grief. And it would seem like the grief just kind of got like just closer, and God is still merciful. And so I had to work through that. I did not know what it was called. And so when I say what didn't know what it was called, I knew the feeling that I was feeling on the inside. I knew that I was struggling. I knew that I couldn't do the extra. And I just didn't understand why. And so I was talking to one of my God sisters, and so grateful for my village and so grateful for my God siblings, because I can be transparent with them without judgment. And there's a few circles that I can do that in. I'm not even gonna hold you. But this particular, my God siblings, that circle have known me probably the longest. outside of my best friend from kindergarten. Shout out to Treasure. Um, but they've known me the longest, right? And so they've been able to see me go through these different phases in life and vice versa. So they're able to see when I'm in a space. Hey, that looks like when you was in a space X, Y, and Z. And so I'm talking to Shanita, and so I said, girl, I'm just kind of, I'm feeling away. I'm feeling away. And she said, when was the last time you felt away? And so in that conversation, what I said to her was, I don't really want to call it nothing because I don't want to speak anything over my life. That was my perspective. And so when I identified the feelings that I was feeling, she said, when was the last time? I said, well, right after I had Legacy, I was feeling this type of way. And she said, you might be struggling with depression a little bit. And I said, no, 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 no. Like the lady from like the lady from Get Out, when she was like, no, 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 no. That's how I was like, no, 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 can't be, no. And she was like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. So we going back and forth, yeah, no, no, yeah, 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 no, all the things, right? So I said, all right, bet I'm gonna call it that. I'm gonna call it that because once you call it by name, hallelujah. Once you call it by name, now we can have the tools to work through that. Now we can pray us out of it. Now we can use whatever exercises that we need to do. Now we can identify triggers. So I was like, all right, cool, let's go. And that accompanied with the grief that I was feeling. And so I said, now I know. And I gave myself space as a leader. I gave myself space to feel the things. And I talked to another one of my good friends, and she said to me, sometimes we don't give ourselves the space to feel these things, and we don't give ourselves the time to heal because we're not feeling these things. I wanted to allow myself to get out of it because I didn't want to stay in this space for a long time. And I can I'm actively saying I am working through that. But as a leader, I believe when you are the person that people are always looking towards to figure things out, looking towards to make that executive decision, looking towards to have that insight, sometimes we just don't have it. Sometimes we just don't have it. And I believe that now that I've experienced this and I'm able to identify it, I need to make sure that I'm giving myself space to feel it. I'm giving myself space to say, hey, let me refer you to someone else because I don't have the leadership strategy for you right now. Okay. I don't have the strategic insight for that right now. I don't. Okay. I don't have the creativity for that right now. And because of that, I believe that I did myself a service. And I believe I did the people that I lead a service because who am I to lead them in a direction during a time that I'm not at my best self? Who am I to lead them into a particular direction, to give particular insight when I'm not at my best self? I gotta give myself space and time to feel those things. What am I going to do moving forward? I'm going to make sure that I identify what these triggers are for me. Because not that these space and this feeling is going to ever never, not that it's not going to come again, right? A double negative. It's going to come again. It potentially come again. You don't know when, but I want to make sure that the next time that I am not afraid to call it by name, that I am not afraid to work through it sooner. Okay. And I might have just needed to rest because not only was I leading these large initiatives, not only am I running this business and moving things around and doing all the things, I'm also a mom. I'm also a active family member. I'm also a good friend. I believe I'm a great friend. A great friend. I'm also that girl. That girl. And so all of that takes a little bit of work. Okay. And so I think also for me, this was a time to just say, girl, because it's always something going on. It's always something to do. It's always. And I want to make sure that, again, as I'm moving forward, as I'm working through this, that I give myself the space to be my best self. Because how am I going to be CJ Spencer, this big corporate powerhouse, and I'm struggling on the inside? And that might be a part of me, but that doesn't have to become who I am. And That time is up now. And so I'm ready. I'm excited for this next journey. I'm excited for the lessons that I learned over the last 6 months. I'm excited to be able to continue to be the corporate powerhouse, the resource, the execution expert, the one that's proactive and reactive, the leader, the strategist. I'm ready to be all of those things and more. And I'm ready to just rest when I need to. I'm ready to say, you know what? Not this week. And not because I'm feeling away, but because I'm preserving what I actually have. I'm actually preserving me. Shoot. Okay. So yeah, let's do this and let's do it together. Talk to you guys soon.